Hello and welcome to Algebra 2, Chapter 1.5, and today we're going to discuss problem solving using algebraic models. Really what that means is we're going to look at some word problems. So sorry this is going to take a little bit longer just because each of these problems is going to take a little bit longer. So our few definitions we have at first. A verbal model is an equation written in words. So instead of writing A equals 1/2 BH, we could write the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 the product of the base and the height. You just write it out with words. An algebraic model is the one that's written in mathematical symbols, so the A equals 1/2 BH. And so here's our plan for problem solving. We want to write a verbal model, and the verbal model is not always exactly from an equation that we might know. The verbal model might be take the total time times the total distance, and we're going to get something out of that. So write the verbal model, assign the labels, write an algebraic model from that, solve the algebraic model, and we have our answer. So on August 15th, 1995, the Concorde flew 35,035 miles from New York City to New York City in 31 hours and 27 minutes. What was its average speed? Well, anytime that I hear a distance and a time and a speed, I always think of D equals RT. So if you know of a formula this fits into, you might just go straight to that formula. Now, it says what's the average speed, so if I solve this for speed, which is my rate, so rate equals distance over time. My distance is 35,035. Now my time, I probably want to put in hours and not hours and minutes. So if I do 27 divided by 60, gets me 0.45. So this is 31.45 hours. And if we look at our units, this was miles per hour, so that would be a rate. So 35,035 divided by 31.45, approximately 111399 miles per hour. It's pretty fast. Showerhead advertises a maximum flow rate of 25 gallons per minute. Find the flow rate if it fills a 22-gallon bathtub in 9.5 minutes. Is this within the advertised limit? Okay, so looking at your units, find the flow rate. So the flow rate is gallons per minute. So what's that telling me to do? Put my gallons over my minutes. That's going to equal my flow rate. So 22 gallons per 9.5 minutes. So how many gallons per minute is that? We do 22 divided by 9.5. We get 2.316 gallons per minute. Is that within the advertised flow rate? It is. Since it had said it has a maximum of 2.5, it could have dribbled out at 0.1 gallons per minute, and it would have been within that advertised flow rate. So, yes, it was. You drove 280 miles using 15 gallons of gas. That cost $1.15 per gallon, so this is like 2 decades ago. If you get 24 miles per gallon on the highway and 16 in the city, how much did you spend for fuel for highway driving and how much did you spend for city driving? So this might be a great candidate for more of that verbal model plan I was talking about earlier, because we're having to figure out how much did we spend, okay, for the two types of driving. How much did we spend? That's my overall answer. Well, to figure out how much I spend, I need to figure out how many gallons I used city and highway. And I know I used 15 gallons total, but I don't know how many of those were dedicated to the highway and how many of those were dedicated to the city. But I know I drove 280 miles, so we have so much information here. How do we put it all together? So money's going to come in at the end. Let's see if maybe we can set up an equation. If we can get miles. If we did, or if you look at it this way, miles per gallon times gallons is going to cancel those gallons. Okay, it's going to leave me in miles. So if I want an answer strictly in miles, I'm going to do this twice. The reason I'm going to do this twice is because I'm going to have highway and I'm going to have city. Alright, so highway, 24 miles per gallon. Now, do we know exactly how many gallons we spent or we used on the highway? Nope, so let's use X gallons. Okay. Plus, because we're going to add to it, so there's the highway. City is 16 miles per gallon. Do we know how many gallons we used city driving? We don't, but we're not going to use Y. We're going to use 15 minus X, right? So however many I used on the highway, 15 minus that, I used there. So gallons cancel. I'm left with miles, so this needs to equal miles. So then this would be the miles on the highway plus the miles on the city needs to equal my total miles. Lots of times units will tell you exactly how to solve the problem. You just got to figure it out. How do they fit together to solve that problem? Alright, so this is going to be 24x plus 16 times 15, I think is 90 minus 16x equals 280. Hold on, my calculator was malfunctioning. I'm sure it was the calculator. How about 240? There we go. Alright, so minus 240. 24 minus 16 would be 8x equals 40. X equals 5. So what was X? X was gallons we spent on the highway. Okay, so let's see here, do highway. And it would be 5 gallons times $1.15 per gallon. $5.75 on the highway, and so the city would have been 10 gallons times $1.15 per gallon, which probably comes out to be $11.50. So those are our answers. How much should we spend on each? But you could not go directly to it. You had to go kind of around it and find something else first. Alright, just a few strategies on problem solving. Always, if there's an equation or formula already out there for you to use, that's a great idea. You can try drawing diagrams, looking for patterns, or there's always the good old guess and check, but sometimes that takes a while, so that's usually my last resort. Alright, one more example we're going to look at. We'll do everything else in class. A fire truck is called to a scene. 3 minutes later, a second fire truck is called. The first truck averages only 30 miles per hour, but the second one averages 60. The trucks travel a total of 12 miles and arrive at the same time. How long from the first call did the trucks take to arrive, and how far did each travel? So they're not traveling from the same place. So you have, like, let's say the fire, there's a fire, there's the fire. And so you have one truck traveling from this firehouse, and we have one truck traveling from this firehouse. I have no idea which one's closer. So this might be one where we're going to draw a picture. So let's say this is the first one. I know he travels at 30 miles per hour. And I know, let's call his time, so that's his rate. and let's call his time t. This one, his rate, I know is 60 miles per hour. And his time, he has 3 minutes less, so it's going to be, but we don't really want to switch, t is in hours. So let's do 3 minutes divided by 60 minutes per hour. This is going to give me hours. So 3 divided by 60 is going to be 0.05 hours. So t minus 0.05 is how many hours he travels. And we know this total distance is 12 miles because they each traveled or together, so whatever this distance is plus whatever this distance has to equal 12. So we talked about this earlier. If we're looking at d, r, and t, you really need to be thinking, right? d equals rt. I'm going to leave it in this form, and what we're going to do is my distance actually needs to be rate times time of the first truck plus rate times time of the second truck, because when I add those together, I'm going to get 12. So if I input what I know, 30t plus 60 times t minus 0.05, I can solve for t, even though, well, t is one of my questions. It's not both my questions. We can input that back in. All right, so let's see here. 12 equals 30t plus 60t minus 3. Add 3 over, we're going to get 15 equals 90t. Divide by 90. Oh, so sorry. Don't know what's happening there. Divided by 90. Alright, so this is 0.16 repeating, so that's in hours. You might want to know what that is in minutes. Times it by 60, so that is 10 minutes. So this fire truck number 1 over here, took 10 minutes, which means fire truck number 2 took 7 minutes because he had 3 minutes less. And so how long from the first call did the trucks take to arrive? Well, it is 10 minutes total. How far did each travel? So if we just plug each one back into its own d equals rt, so 30 times, so 5 miles. So I'm just plugging it into d equals rt here. And 60 well, the other one should travel how far? 7 miles, right? They traveled 12 miles total. Alright, that's what I have for you today. We'll finish everything else in class. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.